Hi, I'm Kristal Hart, and we are in Louisville, Kentucky for the first day of issue for the Muhammad Ali Forever stamps. Muhammad Ali called himself the greatest, along with millions of others. Muhammad Ali challenged the best fighters in the world as well as the world itself. Muhammad Ali's activism and bravery still continues to inspire athletes to talk on social issues. His influence also goes further than just boxing. It goes into hip-hop and politics and American lexicon. He once said, "I should be a postage stamp because that's the only way I'll ever get licked." Well, today that comes to fruition as the United States Postal Service honors him with the Muhammad Ali Forever stamps.
One of the things you said for the Postal Service, this is more than just a stamp, it's a national thank you. Can you reiterate that again?
Well, you know, for all of our stamps, it's really an education and a history lesson about who the person was and their contribution to America. So it's not just a stamp. This is somebody who changed the course of history in the United States. And to have him on a stamp really means so much in terms of educating people about what he stood for, the principles he stood for, the love he gave, and the humanitarian he ultimately became.
What does his day mean to you?
Oh man, I'll tell you, you know, I was personally grew up watching Muhammad Ali. So personally, he was such a hero to me personally. So to have him on a stamp is just very emotional. I had tears coming down my eyes when I saw the stamp. I mean, he is such an icon. So it is just more than a stamp, it is a personal tribute to him. I got to tell you that I saw him grow when I was growing up, and he inspired me to go on to law school, to really study hard. So this is a very emotional day.
He wore a lot of hats. He was a poet, he was a prophet, he was a humanitarian and a boxer. So how was it to pick out this image?
Well, you know, you wanted something classic. And this is such a classic picture of him in his boxing pose, classic poses that you saw on posters. It just captures his love, his humanity, and of course his good looks. So it's a wonderful stamp.
And you also knew a lot about his boxing style, what that left hook or give us a little bit of his rub-a-dub.
I studied him very carefully. He used to shoot the left jab, move to the right, follow up with a right cross. He was just a master.
I have long been an admirer and fan of Muhammad Ali. My father was a huge fan, and he got me hooked at a young age. I remember to this day, at the age of 14, sitting up at 2 a.m. in Ireland to watch, in 1978, Ali fight and lose to Leon Spinks, and then 7 months later, to watch him beat Spinks to regain the heavyweight title for the 3rd time. He visited Ireland 3 times. He fought Alvin Blue Lewis in 1972 and in Croke Park and won by a knockout. He learned about Irish culture and sports and was fascinated by hurling, which for those of you who don't know is a traditional Celtic sport. The Irish fell in love with Ali. And that interview he gave was a famous interview that today people in Ireland remember because he so identified with Irish struggles and the cause for civil rights in the United States. Ali visited Ireland actually 3 times. The last time he visited was in 2009, where he visited his ancestral home in Ennis, County Clare, where his grandfather, Abe Grady, was from. And of course, the greatest of all time has had so many ties to our great university. Our Muhammad Ali Scholars Program creates student leaders dedicated to service, community engagement, and civic responsibility. Our Muhammad Ali Institute for Peace and Justice advances the cause of peace building, social justice, and violence prevention. In 2015, Muhammad Ali received the inaugural Grandmeyer Spirit Award from U of L, recognizing his humanitarian efforts and inspiring actions. And Muhammad was a true cardinal. His son, Asad Ali, played baseball here and is a current member of our athletic staff. Muhammad was honorary captain of our 2007 Orange Bowl championship team. Even nearly 10 years since his passing, Muhammad remains an inspiration, not only for our student athletes, but for all cardinals who care about making our world a better place. We are so happy to have you here today, and we are so excited to be part of today's program. And thank you all for being a part of history today.
It's well to remind us that in a very real sense, Muhammad Ali was a patriot. His story is a deeply American story, and his example stands as a reminder, perhaps particularly in these times, that often the greatest examples of patriotism come in challenging power rather than bowing to it. So we honor Muhammad Ali here in his hometown, a city that shaped him and that he reshaped forever. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, the 51st mayor of Louisville, Craig Greenberg. Craig.
Well, thank you very much, Bob. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Louisville. Welcome to Ali's Louisville. And for those of you who flew in to be with us here today, I hope you had a wonderful experience at the Muhammad Ali International Airport. And thank you so much to the U.S. Postal Service for honoring our hometown hero, the first Louisvillian to be a United States postal stamp. There could be no one better than Muhammad Ali for this great honor. As we all know, Muhammad Ali was not just a champion in the ring. He was a champion of conscience. Ali taught us the power of courage, the need to speak the truth, the responsibility that each one of us has to stand up for one another, the importance of respect and peace. Values that were important in 1996, as Bob just told you, and values that might be more important than ever today in these challenging times we're living in. Because at this time when our country faces such division, uncertainty, unnecessary violence, and real challenges, Muhammad Ali's life reminds us that strength is not found in dominance. Strength is found through dignity, through caring, through unity. He was a true vision of an equitable America and a peaceful world. And that's why many years after his athletic career ended, and still many years after his passing, he still inspires us here in Louisville and people all around the entire world. He was truly one of a kind. In the ring, he knocked his opponents out, and outside of the ring, he lifted people up. That's what it was all about for Muhammad Ali. I stand here today as one of many public servants who have been inspired by the GOAT, by his values, by his courage, and by his actions. And I work every day to live those values, to promote those values throughout Louisville on behalf of everyone. Now, while maybe representing one of Muhammad Ali's 40 appearances on a Sports Illustrated cover here today, we're celebrating something even more special, a one-of-a-kind tribute for Muhammad Ali to be on a forever stamp. This stamp matters so much. It's a symbol that in a world often filled with darkness, a light from Louisville can make it brighter. Lonnie, thank you so much for everything you have done to keep the champ's life, vision, and energy alive in Louisville and around the world. Thank you to the rest of the Ali family for your continued support and for sharing the greatest of all time with the world. Congratulations.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the U.S. Postal Service, it's an honor to join you today as we dedicate a forever stamp in honor of the champ, Muhammad Ali. Today, we honor a man who was the world heavyweight boxing champion, who reshaped sports, fought for his beliefs, and became a symbol of courage, decency, and love. Muhammad Ali revolutionized heavyweight boxing with speed and quickness that defied heavyweight logic, supernatural reflexes, and dazzling footwork. All transformed heavyweight boxing from brute force into artistry. Now, those of you who saw the champ, remember the Ali shuffle. There was the double clutch shuffle. There was the Russian tank, the rope-a-dope, the bolo punch, the fake bolo punch, the acu-punch, the anchor punch, just to name a few. And of course, we all recall his signature refrain: float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, rumble, young man, rumble. Muhammad Ali elevated his key boxing matches into global extravaganzas. His epic fights with Joe Frazier and George Foreman were cultural moments. The Thriller in Manila, the Rumble in the Jungle. Rarely had the world seen an athlete who could command the world's attention, was funny and charming. In so doing, he paved the way for generations of athletes to be outspoken, socially aware, and totally authentic. Muhammad Ali's fights extended far beyond the ring. In 1967, at the height of his prime boxing years, Ali made a decision that would risk jail, his professional career, and the support of millions of people. He refused to be drafted into the Vietnam War, citing his religious beliefs, his opposition to the war, and the treatment of Black Americans in the Jim Crow South. Ali was stripped of his heavyweight title, banned from boxing, and sentenced to 5 years in prison. 4 years later, a unanimous Supreme Court overturned his conviction after determining that the Selective Service Board wrongly denied his conscientious objector status. For Ali, standing on his principles was more important to him than his professional career or the money he would lose. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in times of challenge and controversy. Beyond sports and protest, Muhammad Ali's life was marked by extraordinary humanitarianism. As a global goodwill ambassador, he dedicated himself to service. He traveled extensively, promoting peace and understanding across racial, religious, and national lines. He helped secure the release of 15 American hostages from Iraq, supported hunger and relief efforts, and raised awareness for Parkinson's disease after his own diagnosis. Even as the disease slowed his movements, it never silenced his message. As Ali said, service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. And he lived those words every day. Today, as we dedicate this stamp, we remember a man who dared to be bold, stood on principle, and used his fame to improve humanity. The stamp design created by art director Antonio Acala captures both Ali's formidable intensity and his captivating charm. The photograph of him in his boxing stance reminds us of his unique athletic gifts, his lightning speed and deceptive power. The alternating placement of his name recalls the bold topography of classic boxing posters, while also echoing the chant that greeted him around the world: Ali, Ali, Ali. The picture in the selvage, the area surrounding the stamps, showcases Ali smiling in a pinstripe suit, reflecting the humanitarian and cultural icon he became beyond the ring. Every stamp we issue reflects a piece of America's spirit and who we are as a nation. For the Postal Service, this is more than a stamp. It's a national thank you. It's a tribute to a man whose conviction, dedication, and spirituality continue to inspire. As Ali put it, quote, "I wanted to use my fame and this face that everyone knows so well to help uplift and inspire people around the world." That desire to uplift, to inspire, remains one of his many lasting gifts. And starting today, every time someone places this stamp on a card or a letter, they help carry that spirit forward. To Lonnie and Ali's family, thank you for sharing him with us and the world. To the city of Louisville, thank you for nurturing a young man who would one day speak to the hearts of millions. And to everyone gathered here today, thank you for helping a legacy defined by greatness. And now, at this time, I'd like to invite our guests to join me for the official unveiling of the Muhammad Ali Forever Stamp.
You want to know about the story, how we got the champion stamp? It has been a wonderful exciting three-year journey, great teamwork, great support, but I want to highlight 4 specific reasons why this is so special to me. First, why is this stamp important? Not just a stamp, but why is it meaningful? One reason is that there's no question today's social environment is extremely challenging. It's troubling, and we need some inclusive compassion. Even in 2026, we still need the champ's voice to help us. That is why, as the 7th son of a Mexican immigrant, I'm very proud to play the key role in this effort and show what the product of immigrants can do. That a son of a Mexican immigrant from Victorville, California can help get the stamp for his hero, an African-American Muslim from Louisville, Kentucky. The second reason why this is such a highlight for me is Mayor Greg Fisher. Now, we were in LA and not knowing the mayor, we were going to the same conference, and I saw this good-looking, distinguished man. I went up to him, I said, "Would you like to share a cab?" Now, if you're ever in LA, I wouldn't recommend when a stranger comes up to you, if you'd like to share a cab, I wouldn't recommend you get in, but the stars were aligned and the mayor said yes. He introduced himself. He said, "Mayor, I'm Mayor Greg Fisher from Louisville." I immediately said, "Muhammad Ali." And a friendship over a decade long has been developed and strengthened and loved. Now, if the mayor does not get in that cab, we're not here today celebrating this stamp. Instead of discriminating against a bald man, the mayor showed the spirit of Muhammad Ali by embracing my outreach with love, with warmth, with friendship. The third reason is Lonnie Ali, Mrs. Louisville Lip. The mayor asked if I would consider coming on to the Muhammad Ali Center board. Shout out to all the staff and the board members from the Muhammad Ali Center. And I said, of course, and that I would get a call from Lonnie Ali because she wanted to meet me and learn about me. And usually when people come to Los Angeles, you meet them in a hotel lobby or you meet them at a restaurant. And I asked what hotel, and she said, "No, I'm coming to you. I'm coming to your home. I said, you're coming to my home in Rancho Cucamonga? That humble act was vital to this effort. If she doesn't come to my home, there is no stamp. After sharing some coconut cream pie, we went up to my office where I have a bunch of Muhammad Ali memorabilia, but also I have poster stamps of Roberto Clemente and Cesar Chavez. Thank you, USPS, for acknowledging those two Hispanic heroes. I asked Lonnie, did the champ have a stamp? She said no. And like a jab, pop, the idea was born to get the champ a stamp. She didn't stereotype me. She didn't judge me. She wanted to learn about me. She showed respect, warmth, and friendship. Those two acts by those two individuals are the pillars for why we're here today. Thank you, Lonnie and Mayor Fisher. Now, the fourth reason, as the president said about your father, you hear a lot of stories about fathers and sons. I got the chance to work with my daughter, Ali, who's here with us today, on this initiative, Get the Champ a Stamp. It was Ali who came up with the idea for the merch, for the Get the Champ t-shirts, hashtag Get the Champ a Stamp social media, and to work alongside her was one of the best things I've ever experienced. Now, during this, I sent Ali to the Muhammad Ali Center to work at the MAC for a few days and earn her stripes. And I didn't go with her. I didn't want to interrupt or influence her experience. When I picked her up from the airport to go home, we pulled into the garage. Now, in my garage, it's covered with sports and Muhammad Ali pictures. I went into the house, and my daughter never came in. About 10 minutes later, where's she at? I go out to the garage. She's in the garage looking at all the Muhammad Ali pictures and quotes. And I said to her, I said, Champ, these pictures have been up here since before you were born. What are you doing? And she said, Pop, yeah, but now I get it. Now I understand. And my hope with this stamp is that many people get it. More people get it. Not just the future generation, but the current generation. They get it and embrace the principles of this man and learn that we can live with one another with compassionate love. Now let me close with the poem. The champ, you know, I'm the youngest of 7 boys, so I got beat up for waking up. I had to figure out some confidence, and as a young boy, Muhammad Ali gave me that confidence. He taught me how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. So I'm gonna be uncomfortable right now. I wrote a poem. This will be the first and only time I read a poem, but it's worthy. I wrote it for this cause. You ready? Okay. Lonnie gazed at my poster stamps of Roberto Clemente and Cesar Chavez, 2 legends who are Hispanic, but I didn't have one for Muhammad Ali, and I started to panic. When she told me Muhammad had no stamp, the thought popped, well, let's get one for the champ. Here we are gathered celebrating this huge success thanks to the intelligence of USPS. So from this day forward, when a child looks up at night, they'll see a group of stars smiling extra bright. That child will ask, is that the Big Dipper? Tell them the truth and say, no, that's the Louisville Lipper. Thank you very much.
You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we gonna walk it out. Move mountains, we gonna walk it out. Move mountains, and I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. I'll rise up, high like the waves, I'll rise up, in spite of the ache, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe, and you can't find the fighter, but I promise we'll bring the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains, and I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. All we need is hope, and for that we have each other, and for that we have each other, and we will rise, we will rise, we will rise. Oh, we'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day, I'll rise up. In spite of the ache, I will rise 1,000 times again. I'll rise up, high like the waves, I'll rise up. In spite of the ache, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again.
And I'm Kristal Hart reporting on the Muhammad Ali Forever Stamps. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Thanks for watching, and mail a letter today.